So the Obama administration doubling down on the president's warning that he's got a pen and he's not afraid to use that pen.
President Obama will use tonight's address to announce his first executive order of the new year, raising the minimum wage for federal contractors. But it won't stop there.
Rather than sit and wait for Congress to take action, we're going to go ahead and roll out on our own using the president's authorities. We'll look to work with Congress where we can, but I think as we've seen over the last several years now, Congress sometimes is a little slow to action.
Well, what about that? Kayleigh McEnany is the founder of Political Prospect, and Marjorie Clifton's a former consultant to the Obama team and CEO of Clifton Consulting. Ladies, how are you doing? And good day to both of you. Kayleigh, welcome to HQ. You get the first question since you're the newbie here, okay? What is the effect now on the business of Washington with his executive order, do you believe? Anything?
It's going to be absolutely disastrous, Bill. You know, the president has decided representative democracy just doesn't work for him. So he's going to take the George III approach and rule by executive fiat. And we've seen this already. We saw it with his appointments to the National Labor Relationship Board. We saw it again with his insistence on delaying the Affordable Care Act, which, again, usurping Congress's power. And we saw it in Libya. So this is just going to be the new way Obama does things, ruling by executive fiat.
And, Kayleigh, let me just interrupt you for a second, because I do want to get you, Kayleigh, to comment on this. He's not the first president to do this. Bill Clinton used executive orders 364 times. President George W. Bush used it 291. President Obama has used it 168 times. That's fewer than his predecessors. Obviously, other presidents think this works.
Allison, that's right. But the thing is, Bill Clinton and George Bush looked at Congress, and when they had a divided government, they said, I'm going to work with Congress, which is why we saw Bill Clinton come to the center and pass welfare reform and get a balanced budget. We saw George Bush try to pass through comprehensive immigration reform. This president has made no such attempt, and he won't. Executive fiat is the order of the day.
Okay, let's get Marjorie. Just get Marjorie to weigh in on this. Then, Marjorie, I want to hit you up on something else here quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, what do you think about the
What are you hitting me
orders?
up on?
Same question.
Yeah.
No, same question.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I loved all her energy. I'm like, yeah, well, here's what I would say about that. I think we have tried trust falls and talking about feelings and trying to get Congress to come together, and there have been a lot of attempts at joint legislation that have fallen on deaf ears. This is a very different Congress than we've seen. Lowest approval rate, 9% than we've seen in decades and decades. So I think the attempts have been there, and now Obama's at a place, look, he's running out of time. He's at the final legs of his administration, and he's got to make the mark where he needed to. And again, the National Labor Relations Board, something created by Congress, and then blocked his appointment. So I think he's doing what he feels like he has to do right now to get things done.
The overall message, and Kayleigh, I'll get you to answer this too. Wall Street Journal, Marjorie, 68% say the country is in the same place or worse off than when the president came to office in January of 2009. I mean, how do you handle that?
Well, I mean, again, I think that he's been criticized widely for not being authoritative enough, for not taking the reins where he needs to, and that's what he's doing. I mean, that's what you're seeing him do in pushing appointments through. That's what you're seeing in terms of his push for the minimum wage, things that he cares about.
Sorry, this is a verdict on his administration. You're at 2/3, Kayleigh. 68%.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Bill, and that's why you see the president with a 39% approval rating. The fact is, the founders put in place a system of checks and balances for a reason, to check presidential power. The president, though, has said, he said here in Miami, I have a drawer full of good ideas I'm ready to implement. Well, the American people, we've opened that drawer, and we don't like what we see, which is why 52% of people have an unfavorable view of Obamacare. So it's not the president's job to rule as a king. It's his job to work with Congress. It's something he hasn't done.
But by the same token, let's look at a Fox News poll that shows how Americans feel about the minimum wage, what he will be announcing that tonight he is taking executive order to raise by $3. 56% in the most recent poll by Fox News said raise it. 25% said keep it as it is. But Marjorie, I also want to show you how President Obama felt about executive orders when he was a candidate in 2007. Here's what he said in an interview. I think that the issue of executive power and executive privilege is one that is subject to abuse. And in an Obama presidency, what you will see will be a sufficient respect for law and co-equal branches of government. It does sound like he's changed his tune a bit.
Well, I mean, again, I think a lot has been tried, and 2007 is now long since history in terms of having a Congress that has sat still. And the minimum wage issue is one of those that I think he hopes to bring both parties together on. As you said, Republicans and Democrats alike think that it is an important imperative. I mean, right now we have 3/4 of those relying on social services programs and tax, creating more tax dollars are working people. They're people in a lot of those minimum wage jobs.
It just seems like it's such small ball, Marjorie.
What, working on the minimum wage?
No,
Actually,
I mean, just the whole message tonight and what comes of it and whether it advances anything.
Well, I would say income inequality and dealing with the issue of poverty is not small at all, and it impacts everything from education, immigration reform, you name it. So I think it's a great umbrella issue that both parties should be coming around, and I think his mission tonight is a message of let's come together on important issues that plague everyone.
Kayleigh, you get the last word.
You know, if the president were being honest tonight, he would say what Gerald Ford said in 1975, the State of the Union is bad, and he would lay out his plan to fix Obamacare. That's what I'd like to hear from the president. I don't think we're going to hear it.
Kayleigh, Marjorie, thanks so much for the analysis. We'll see what happens tonight.
Thank you, ladies.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.